Infatuasian podcast.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the Infatuasian podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Got another treat for you today. We are talking to another one of my idols. It feels like someone I grew up with because I think we're almost exactly the same age, but we're talking to Kristi Yamaguchi today. Nowadays, when you look at the Winter Olympics, you see so many Asian Americans and just Asians in general. But when was that? 30-something years ago, you didn't see that many Asians competing in the Winter Olympics. There was just a handful, and not that many Asian Americans. So when Kristi Yamaguchi appeared in the Olympic stage in '92, it wasn't super common to see Asian Americans. And not only did she compete, but she won. And it was just such a joyful moment for me. I remember being in college and rushing home from my classes in order to see if she had won or not, because it was in Europe. The Olympics were in Europe. And so it was just so joyful to see her win. And she overcame some real stiff competition that year. And it just was super fun. And then flash forward to now, we're celebrating Alyssa Liu's win, and yeah, another joyful moment. But it started with Kristi in my mind. It started with Kristi. And so she will always be the GOAT in my mind, just because she did it at a time in my life when there just really wasn't a lot of representation in the Olympics for Asian Americans. You know how they say you're not supposed to meet your heroes because they'll let you down. I'm happy to say it was a complete pleasure to speak with Kristi. And shout out to Dave Liu, who's a friend. He was on the podcast when we talked about 38 at the Garden. We've kept in touch, and Dave is so well connected. He has the golden Rolodex of names. And so I asked him to help connect me with Chef Martin Yan and Kristi Yamaguchi, and he totally came through. So shout out to you, Dave. So without further ado, let's get to our conversation with the one and only Kristi Yamaguchi right after this. Today we are joined by an Olympic champion, two-time world champion, and a U.S. national champion. The first Asian American to win a gold medal at the Winter Games in 1992. It's the one and only Kristi Yamaguchi. Good morning, Kristi.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for coming on. I wanted to do we're celebrating our 5th anniversary as a podcast, and I wanted to have a big guest. And so I reached out to 2 Bay Area legends, and first was Martin Yan, and the second one was you. And so last week I just recorded with Martin, and so it's such an honor to be able to record with you too in the same month. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm very honored. So congratulations on 5
Thank
years.
Thank you. Where are you calling in from today?
I'm calling in from San Francisco Bay Area. I'm on the East Bay though, so
Okay.
a little warmer here.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm looking out the window. We have a lovely day in the Bay Area, and I love seeing you around the Bay. Like, speaking of Martin Yan, you guys must bump into each other all the time.
Yes. I've always been a big fan of his. I've seen him many events and places that also have mutual friends. So, yeah, he's just amazing.
Yeah.
Timeless.
Yeah. Well, both of you guys. I met you before. Very briefly. I met you before at a Giants game. I was at some good seats by the by the first base side. You want to guess who the ball girl was the day that I went to the game?
Oh man, was that when I was there?
It was you. Yeah.
Ay.
But they didn't hit any balls your way, so you didn't have anything to do.
Thank goodness, because I was imagining like, oh my goodness, if the ball comes this way, am I really going to be able to grab it up and throw it out or whatever? But yeah, that was fun, but also terrifying.
Can we dig into your ancestral roots a little bit?
Sure. Yes.
When did your ancestors get here to the Bay Area?
Oh, to the Bay Area. Well, it was probably my mom and dad when they went to Cal
Oh, okay.
Berkeley. But my so I'm Yonsei, fourth generation Japanese
Oh.
American, and my dad's dad immigrated through Hawaii. Was there for a work contract, and then moved on to California. This was around like the 1919,
Oh, wow.
ish,
Wow.
maybe a little later. Yeah, early 20s. Um, and then my mom's family had been settled in the Southern California area, and they were flower growers
Mm.
down in uh, kind of, uh, yeah, Gardena ish area in Southern California. And this was all right before the war, World
Yeah.
War II. And then it was after the war, my dad's family settled in Central California and were farmers. And then my mom's family reestablished in Southern California. And then eventually my mom and dad ended up at Cal Berkeley and met through mutual friends there.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know you had that Cal Bear history in your family. Me too. My
Hmm.
maybe our parents knew each other.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure they did.
Yeah, actually, right? Yeah, I didn't know you had all that history here in California. So they have an incarceration part of their history too, as well.
Yes. So my dad's whole family was incarcerated in Poston, Arizona.
Oh man.
And then my mom was actually born in the camp in Amache, Colorado.
Oh wow,
So,
wow.
and yeah, so her whole family was, well, yeah, her family was kind of all over because her dad was actually in the war in Europe
Oh my
fighting
gosh.
for the US.
Wow,
But
wow.
his wife, my grandmother, was just felt safer being in the camp, especially when she found out she was having a baby. So she found her parents and went to the camp where they were so she can have my mom.
I interviewed a woman. Have you heard of Satsuki Ina? She wrote a book called The Poet and the Silk Girl. She was born in camp, so she's in her 80s now, and she was born in a camp, and her parents wrote letters back and forth because they were separated in different camps, and she
Uh,
found a stack of these letters in her mom's journals, and so she published it. It's really a neat read if you have a moment
Ooh,
to.
wow.
You
Yeah,
might,
yeah.
yeah,
Sounds
yeah,
so
it's cool.
interesting.
Well, let's talk about happier times.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you're born in East Bay, like Fremont?
Actually, born Hayward, but raised in Fremont. Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
What was your childhood like? I heard that you had to overcome some health issues as a kid.
Well, I was born with severely turned in feet, kind of like if they were crossed, like you're crossing your arms or
Oh wow.
sitting cross-legged. Um, and so the first 18 months of my life or so, I had casts on my legs to straighten them out, removed every 2 weeks because babies grow so fast. And then after that was in corrective shoes and braces, probably till I was like 3.5, 4. So, and I didn't have to wear it 24/7, but for sure I remember the brace at night, and it was just really hard to
Uh,
sleep
yeah.
with those on. But yeah, I think very lucky that the corrections took hold and my parents were proactive in having, you know, it corrected early on, and yeah, and then eventually moved on to other things.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I bet people weren't talking about you becoming an Olympic champion back when you were 2 years old or 3 years old.
No, definitely not. It was just, okay, hopefully she can just walk normal. We'll see.
Yeah. So when did the skating come in?
So I was about 6 years old. About 4 or 5, my sister Lori took up skating just for fun with her friend, and they skated for a couple months. And they were like, okay, that was fun. Now move on. But I had always wanted to try it as well. But my mom kept saying, no, you're too young. Like, wait till you're a little bit older, when you're about 6, when you know, can start to learn how to read, then I'll take you skating. And so I remember this. And when I turned 6 and was in first grade, it's like, okay, I'm learning how to read. Like, I want to go back to the ice rink. And really from day one, I actually still remember being on the ice with my mom on that first day, and then even turning in the skates and not wanting to return the rental skates because I wanted them. I was like, "No, why do we have to give them back? I'm gonna come skate again." So yeah, and since then, it kept going.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think we're about the same age. Who did you look up to? I'm sure Peggy Fleming was one.
Yeah, definitely Peggy. I mean, for sure, Dorothy Hamill, because
Oh, Dorothy Hamill. Yeah.
yeah, she had won right in '76, and I started probably around '78, around there, I guess it was. And so she was America's sweetheart. Everyone talked
Uh-huh.
about it. I didn't really know what she had accomplished.
Yeah.
At 6, you don't really know, or I didn't really understand what the Olympics were all about. But she was doing the skating thing that I loved, and I had gotten to see her and Peggy Fleming in a show, Ice Follies, Ice Capades when they came through. So they were yeah, big idols of mine growing up.
My last name is Chin. Did you meet Tiffany Chin early on in your career?
Yes, yes. So, Tiffany Chin's from Southern California, but one of the obviously very talented, amazing Asian American skaters. And she was the first Asian American US national champion, and then went on to win a bronze medal at the World Championships. So I had always looked up to Tiffany. It's a small world. Like I was
Sure.
able to skate with her on practice sessions and see her train, and it's just a small world, especially both of us being from California. So yeah,
Hmm.
she was my first big um role model who I thought, yeah, I'm kind of just like her, even though she has short hair. But I
Yeah.
loved her style, I loved her presence and her athleticism that she had. So yeah, she was probably my first big Asian American role model.
That's cool. Yeah. And I mean, you know this, but people look at you now. I mean, for generations, there's been people looking up at you like that. So that's kind of cool that I think if you can see it, you can be it, like if you see someone that looks like you, maybe that helps a lot with pursuing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just makes it possible, right? And I think it's just inspiring. If anything else, it's just like, wow, if you connect with someone, right, whether you know
Yeah.
them or not, it's like I I can I want to be just like her or like him or whatever it is. So yeah, definitely when you see it, it's celebrated. It becomes something that's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah. Now it doesn't happen by accident, so you had to put some hours in. What was your schedule like? So you were doing this from age 6 and then, Olympics you were almost 20, right? So what happened between 6 and 20? How did you get so good?
Yeah, a lot, right? It's like so true, the same blood, sweat, and tears, right? It's all there.
Mhm.
But all great. It's something I loved from the beginning, and I think went through different iterations of what I thought the path in skating was for me. When I started, I wanted to be a show skater. I loved the shows, the costumes, the performance with the lights and the music. And that's what really captured my heart with the sport. And, there I was taught very early on, the professionalism that came along with being in an ice show because the local rink I started at, Southland, it was at Southland Mall in Hayward,
Mhm.
a small, tiny little rink, but it was run by a great manager who had been part of the professional skating world and demanded that from his skaters when they put on a show. So, it was great. I loved it. And, eventually at 8, I entered my first competition. And I think that's when I got bit by the competitiveness, right, of what skating was and realized that, oh, hey, you can actually win medals in skating. And this is kind of fun. And I think that's when I realized that, oh, I have to pay attention what other people are doing, what my competitors are doing, and, kind of keep up with what they're learning and, maybe learn a little more or, practice a little more or something. So, yeah, early on, I kind of went from show skating to slowly competitive, local and small things.
Mm,
But then by the age of about 12, I started to compete beyond the local area and representing like or competing throughout the West Coast.
mm.
And then, you're just exposed to even more and more. And beyond the West Coast, the next step would be like national level. So, it was a long, slow journey, but there was always room to get better, to learn more, to, take another step forward on that competitive level. And by 16, I was competing at the World Junior Championships and won my first big titles there as not just a single skater, but also a pair skater. And then, moved on from there pretty
When
quickly, I guess.
yeah.
Seemed like it.
When did you meet Rudy Galindo?
So Rudy and I met, we were pretty young. I was maybe like uh 10 or so when I
Oh,
met him, or,
okay.
he was already a accomplished young single skater in his own right. He had just won the novice men's national title.
Oh.
And, being a local skater is like, oh, everyone knows, like, wow, this young phenom of a young skater. And we skated at the same rink a few times a week. And people kept saying, oh, how cute. You guys should like skate together because we were both tiny little kids. I was 11
Uh-huh.
and he was 13 at that time. And so we did try out together as a pair team. And his coach, his singles coach, was also a coach for pair teams. So he kind of tried us out together. And, I was 11. I was just like, I like what I'm doing. I like singles. I don't really want to hold a boy's hand and skate with someone else. But I don't know. Somehow I just got convinced to try. And then, we had fun. And Rudy became like a brother to me.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time together. We had a lot of fun skating together. It was, it was just kind of another branch, I guess, of what I was doing out on the ice. But we started to have success with it and more success than we thought
Yeah.
early on. So, yeah, and it kind of just snowballed from there.
And so let's see. I don't know if I have all my facts right. So you win World Junior Championships, both singles and pairs in '88.
Yeah, yeah. In '88, we had done the World Juniors 2 years prior to that as a pair team, um, and we were fifth and then third, and then oh no, maybe we weren't even fifth. Maybe our first year we were lower. I know we kind of messed up there, but then um, the third year in 1988, we were returning kind of as a favorite because we had been third the year before, and then it was my first year as a single competitor. Was it the first year? Anyway, yeah. So I was there as a single skater as well. And I think people were kind of like, what? Like you skate singles too? And it's like, well, yeah, I've always skated singles. I just, we just kind of appeared on the international stage first as a pair team. So that was a really, really hard competition. It was in Brisbane, Australia. And because I was skating singles and pairs, it was just
Yeah.
I was going from singles practice to pairs practice, and then once the competition started, it was like pairs practice, but I had to do singles practice too, and then compete, and then so I was literally going from ice rink to ice rink the whole time. But good thing I was young because somehow made it happen, and we ended up winning the pair event. So the first time in a while, the U.S. team had won a pairs junior world title, and then I ended up winning the single title as well. So yeah, so it was kind of a big step up, I suppose, in
Yeah.
my, I guess, international uh, skating ranking and everything.
Do, does anyone? No one does that anymore. No one does pairs and singles anymore, do they?
It's rare. I mean, you know, that was 88, a year and a half, or like a little more than a year later, which was actually the 89 um, uh, U.S. championships. I made I made the world team in both singles and pairs, and that was the first time it had been done in the U.S. in over 40 some years.
Yeah.
And no, I don't think anyone's done it since
Yeah.
then, because yeah,
So
it's
hard.
just a lot to be in two disciplines like that, and the
Yeah.
pressure and just the you know
Yeah.
expenditure energy that it takes to
Just the actual time, the amount
yeah
of
the
time.
time
This
to
is
actually
impossible.
train
Yeah.
and be at that level,
Yeah.
the world level. Yeah.
And then, yeah, you guys go on to win senior pairs at the U.S. figures in back to back,
hmm
89 and 90. So I'm guessing at this point, well, actually, even before this, you were homeschooled at this point, or you had a tutor on the road with you to finish your schooling.
Yeah. So eighth grade, I did homeschool, and that was really tough. I mean, it was actually easy homeschool, but it was just tough not
Yeah,
being in a normal school environment.
sure.
Yeah, and same with ninth and 10th grade, I was pure independent study. So through our local school district, but um,
Oh,
independent study. So receiving my work, going in like once a week for tests and assessments and getting my next week's worth of work. And this was before computers and everything,
yeah,
right? Well, there might have been small, yeah. I mean, we didn't use
maybe.
computers back then. Everything
Yeah,
was textbooks, workbooks, and
yeah,
printouts, right? And, if I needed help, I had to actually call the teacher, right?
yeah.
Or go in and see them live. Junior, senior year in high school, I went back on campus at Mission San Jose High School in Fremont because I just needed that stimulation. And I felt like I was going to learn better with
Sure.
seeing a teacher every day and being with other students and just interacting. So, and I wanted to go to, some of the high school events. I knew I couldn't partake in a lot of it, but, if I was able to go to a couple of school dances, I wanted to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. All right, but meanwhile, the skating continues, and you're just winning at every level at this point. But do you decide was it a really hard decision to focus on singles after that, or was it mutual, or how did it go?
I mean, I think it was getting to that point where we knew our partnership was coming to an end. We had compete the last 2 years that we competed at the World Championships in 89 and 90. We were fifth in the world, which was the highest that the U.S. team had done since like 1988. So um, I don't know. We were pretty excited. We thought, we had done well, but looking to see who was ahead of us. Um, it was just such a small
Mm,
chance we would ever break into the top three.
mm-hmm.
But, our partnership had gone through a lot of strain. Our coach had passed away and we didn't have a full-time coach. So, that was tough for us. I was training up in Edmonton, Canada because my singles coach had recently married a Canadian. So I was going back and forth to Edmonton and California, and Rudy was coming up to Edmonton so we could train. And that really wasn't working out well either. So, our goals just kind of started to be different. And
Yeah,
they can't be when you're at that level. So, we had a tough time training together as well as, and then that kind of shows up when you're actually competing and performing as well.
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
being fifth in the world is nothing to, look down on. But yeah, I remember it was a really, really tough conversation. It kind of wasn't either our decision. After the World Championships in 1990, I didn't skate well in either event. We did okay, but again, the schedule was just really, really hard. And international skating union official came to talk to me after the competition and said, you did pretty well, but you know what? There's no way at this world level of competition that you can keep up doing two disciplines. You need to pick one or the other. And I don't know who he was referring to we as, but he said, we think you need to just focus on just singles.
Hmm.
And, I was just like, what are you talking about? 18? Like,
Yeah.
why are they trying to tell me what to do? And, I think even though Rudy and I had hit a really rough patch, we had always dreamed of being the next Ty and Randy, right? They were
Yeah.
our idols and mentors and friends. And we just saw our life going in that direction, like skating in shows together and being creative and
Hmm.
doing all kinds of fun stuff. So it was really tough. And, I think it was a decision that had to be made. And it took a lot of soul searching and I think tough conversations with Rudy and his family. And we were just like, okay, yeah, I think it's time to part ways and find our own paths and see what happens. But
Mm.
all the
Yeah.
best. It
Yeah.
was like, a marriage breaking up. It
It
was really
was.
tough
Yeah.
because we were family.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was hard.
And the window is short, right? Like Olympics once every 4 years, and
Mhm,
92 is coming up, so you had to really lock in at that point and say, I'm 100% in on singles,
mhm.
and you did that for about a year. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what the skating officials saw. Like, I didn't quite see that because I didn't feel like I was anywhere near on the Olympic path yet.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I felt like I was still working my way up and had a long way to go, but they saw the potential and what needed to happen because, they're experienced. They've been there, they've seen it through
Mm.
generations of skaters. And, it obviously turned out to be the right decision.
Yeah, right.
um, and, gave me the capacity to really improve in the ways that I needed to as a single skater and become stronger. Um, so yeah, and then Rudy also went on to win U.S. men's title, U.S. title, and then bronze medal at the World Championships. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait, so you arrive in Albertville, right? Is that where it was? That was
Hmm.
Albertville.
Hmm.
And is always women singles first? Is that?
No, women's always close the Olympics.
Oh wait, that's right. That's right. You're
Yeah,
closing. So you have like a week to watch other people.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Well, so a lot of times the women in figure skating actually go to the Olympics later because it's hard to be there for over 2 weeks. But I really wanted to take in the full Olympic experience in March in the opening ceremony and be a part of the US team. So Nancy Kerrigan, who was my roommate at the Olympics, we both went early, in time to march in the opening ceremony with the US team. Amazing experience and, probably one of the highlights of my experience there. But then with 2 more weeks, it's a lot of pressure to train and practice on Olympic ice
Mm.
for that long. So in training at any major competition, it's open, not necessarily to the public. I think now it is. People can buy tickets, but the officials and judges are at every practice.
Oh.
and they're watching and they're taking note of who's doing what, how they're doing it. I mean, because, when they watch a performance, it's like, 2 minutes, 40 seconds done or 4 minutes done. So they have to know what to expect. They have to know, okay, have their jumps been clean all week? Have they been consistent all week?
Wow.
You know, how's the quality on this move been? How's the quality on that move been? So, they have a bit of, I don't want to say it's a prejudged sport, but they have to know, when they're going to go sit and watch 24 skaters, they have to kind of know where the skaters are falling in the pack.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of pressure every practice when they're sitting there, they're taking notes on you.
Yeah.
Your music comes on and everyone's like dialed in, the press is there. So the US figure skating arranged for me to be able to leave Albertville for like 4 days, 5 days. And I went and trained in Majev, up in the Alps, or I don't know, is that the Alps? I don't know. It was like a little mountain town, but I had the rink to myself. It was just
uh,
me and my coach. And we got to relax and, just train and do our normal thing and not worry about all eyes being in the fishbowl. Kind of a getaway. My sister, Lori, and my mom came with me. So, we'd go out and have nice dinner and just walk around the little town and, just kind of escape the pressure. But then a week before competition, went back to Albertville and was like, oh, dialed in.
yeah. Yeah. And I don't remember exactly, but there was kind of a crowd at the top, right? Like you weren't clearly the
No,
favorite at that point.
yeah, not the favorite at all. It was actually Midori Ito from Japan
Mm-hmm.
who was the favorite. Even though I was coming in as world champion, Midori was the silver medalist at the, or no, was she silver or bronze at the previous Olympics? So
Uh-huh. Yeah.
she was the next heir apparent, and she had pushed the level of skating to another. Technically, she was landing the triple axel. The conversation that year was everything triple axel or no triple axel. And I did not have the triple axel in my repertoire. So I had to include other things. But her and Tanya Harding were
Mm-hmm.
landing the triple axel.
Yeah.
So the two of them technically were, the favorites going into Albertville. Both of them had beat me earlier in the year at
Uh,
different international competitions.
huh.
And so, people were like, oh, well,
Yeah.
which way is it going to go? I think it's the triple axel that's going to win. And meanwhile, I'm like, no, it's not necessarily the triple axel. Like I can do triple S, triple toe. And, I have other things in my corner. So anyway, it was up in the air, really. I
Yeah.
think the three of us were, and then, there was the hometown girl, Surya Bonali from France, who was
Mm-hmm.
competing, in her backyard. So uh, yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't a done deal. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
I I do remember that. I mean, for me, as a kid, a college kid in California, I was nervous. I had trouble sleeping. Well, especially after the short program. So short program, you come in and you nail it. Like people would say, it was almost. I mean, not perfect isn't the right word, but it was almost as good as you can do on the short. Yeah. Or
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely set me up for the long program. And, um, I think what I had been working on all year to separate myself from the girls doing the triple axel was my artistic side of skating. And the short program, I think, really was that vehicle for me to really show off that I was a different type of skater
yeah.
than Midori and Tanya. And, it was the Blue Danube, it was a waltz, it was choreographed in a way that really grabbed the nuance of the the music and just the, I guess the feel, and wanted to transport the audience or, the people to where I was. And it was kind of like my debutante ball. It was,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it was piece of it's probably one of my favorite competitive routines ever because of
Mm.
the details in it. And yeah, so when I skated clean in the short and was sitting in first, I think that helped with my confidence and like, okay, I'm still in the game. The triple axles are still there, but
Yeah.
one, they have to land them.
Right, right.
And two, even if they do, there's other factors that go into
Yeah.
skating than just jumps.
I mean, I remember the commentary a little bit of being a little bit of a pushback, right? To like Bonali would do the backflip, and people are like, I don't know if they want to see women doing, these super athletic moves. Like that was just not the commentary. It's not like that's what everyone thought, but it's just
Mm.
maybe there was a little pushback, and people just enjoyed watching the beautiful artistry of a Kristi Yamaguchi. Like just like, I don't know. Maybe that was this part
Well,
of it.
I'd appreciate those comments. Yeah. But yeah, I think, the emphasis was that, hey, skating, yes, it's a sport. So technically it needs to be pushed and you need to reward the technical side of skating for sure. And that's why I incorporated the triple S triple toe combination.
Mm.
And all of my other jumps in the program were either in combination or had a difficult entry or exit. So
Hmm.
now they make it a rule you get extra points for that, but they didn't have those type of rules back in 92. So, but my coach and my choreographer made sure that it's like, hey, you are doing technically as much or more than everyone else, but then also have the added layer of the artistic side, which this is figure skating. You get 2 marks for a reason. And so it's going to be the skater that encompasses it all to be, I guess, the winner or, be on top or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what we were hoping. hoping for.
Well, it worked out. It worked
Yeah.
out. Is the rest kind of a blur, when you see your name on top there and you go top of the podium, were you ready for that at all? Like was that a blur or
It was um the podium moment is very specific and I remember it. I remember, stepping up and clashes of Bonnie Blair, Brian Boitano, other idols, Jackie Joyner, Kirsty, you know, up on their Olympic gold medal moments and just kind of surreal, like, whoa, is this really
Mhm.
happening? Because for me, I never imagined it before because to me, that's like jinxing yourself. It's like,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. Like, I wouldn't even look at the medals. Like, people, are like, oh, the medals are so pretty. Did you look at them? I'm like, no, I didn't even want to see what they look like. Right.
Mhm.
So that moment, I was just soaking it in. And I wanted to find my family because I still hadn't seen them after I competed and when the results came out. So I wanted to share that moment with them because they were a huge part of that whole process and journey of being an Olympian and being an athlete. So yeah, wanting to see them and then obviously hear the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah. And then coming home and, all that comes with winning a gold medal and it like we said before earlier, first Asian American and first American for a long time in women's singles. Like does anything prepare you for that? The media attention and the rush and
No, and you know what? It's like it's coming back to me now again, seeing Alyssa
oh
Liu
yeah.
go through it.
Yeah.
Alyssa is also East Bay girl.
Right.
Known her since she was little, or
Sure.
watched her, come up as a young skater, and gotten to know her better in these later years. And I know she's going through a lot right now, and it's just early February. Some people knew who she was.
Mm.
Some people recognized her from winning worlds the year before. They were into skating or in sports. Everyone
Yeah.
knows who she is now, right? She can't
Yeah.
walk down the street without
Yeah.
being stalked and recognized or, I don't want to say stalked in a way, but,
But
people,
mobbed. Yeah.
she's so endearing. And it wasn't exactly like that in 92 because, it's social media, everything is made,
Mm.
I think, people a lot more accessible these days. But it was shocking because I think you don't realize how many people do watch the Olympics and how much they connect with it and connect with certain competitors in whatever sport it may be. And yeah, it's kind of weird to go from just anybody, walking down the
Mhm.
street
Yeah.
to all of a sudden, people know who you are.
Yeah.
And it takes a while to have it sit easy with you. I don't know if it ever does. I still get uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. Now they changed the rules in '92 about professional skaters, or now
Mm,
you could do. Would you? Well, they had the short turnaround in '94 with the Winter Olympics going every opposite 2 years of the
yeah.
summer. Did you cross your mind at all to keep going with the competitive skating, or were you at the top of the
Yeah.
mountain? And
Yeah, I mean, that was always an option. It was always like, wow, there's an opportunity this will never come again, where
hmm
a competitor only has to wait 2 years for the next Olympics. And
hmm
I think I was getting a lot of pressure, people going like you can't pass up this opportunity. Like there's
hmm
just you got to go again. And it's like, okay, well, let me see, how I feel. Let me experience a year of professional skating. There was a very distinct line back then, still, where you were amateur, not making any money, and then stepping in a professional round where you can do shows and endorsements and things like that. And you can actually make some money. So I'm like, let me try professional skating. And they were allowing pros to reinstate as
hmm
eligible skaters for the 94 games. They were opening up a small window. So I was like, okay, best of both worlds. I can skate professionally, try that out. If I get the itch, I can reinstate and be eligible again for 94. And, that was really what happened with Brian Boitano coming back in 94. Torval and Dean came back in 94. Um, Katarina Witt and Katerina Gordieva and Sergei Grinkov. Like
Yeah,
these
yeah.
icons and gold medalists in figure skating came back in 94, and it was just like, whoa. But I was
Uh-huh.
like, okay, let me try pro skating and then see. Well, after a year of touring with Stars on Ice and doing some professional competitions, professional shows, yeah, I loved it. I mean, as a 6-year-old when I started, that
Mm.
was my dream. I was
Uh-huh.
literally living my dream out, and
Yeah.
it was so much fun and such a challenge, totally different challenge, but I felt like I was just getting my footing as a professional skater and learning from the best. I was under the wings of Scott Hamilton, Rosalind Sumner's, like my idols, right? Kitty and
Yeah.
Peter Carruthers, Brian Orser. So it was like, I had this momentum as a professional skater, just starting and building. So it was hard. I actually not auditioned, but did a tryout with a pair skater and
Oh.
thought about trying
Huh.
as a pair. And I don't know, maybe I didn't really try hard enough because looking back now, it's like, "Ooh, I
Yeah.
should, I should have done that because it would have been amazing to go back as a pair
Yeah.
skater.
Yeah.
But stayed the course as a in professional skating, and yeah. So,
Yeah.
but it was great because you know what? Looking back at '94, I'm
Oh, yeah.
glad I wasn't part of that
It was a
whole
little bit of a
circus.
yeah, it was. Yeah, I do remember that too. And you go on to start your foundation, Always Dream, and working with kids and literacy. What other things do you do with Always Dream?
Well, when Always Dream was established in '96, which is hard to believe, 30 years ago. So we are celebrating our 30th anniversary, which is,
Yay.
yeah, just something I'm really proud of. But, in '96, it was all about embracing the hopes and dreams of children in underserved communities and helping them have the support, the inspiration, resources to go after their dreams. I had that support. I had the encouragement. And I just wanted other kids out there to have that same opportunity. So, early on, we were called Always Dream Foundation and supported smaller organizations with small grants, all focused on kids and children's activities. But in 2012, we really switched and narrowed our focus onto early education and particularly early literacy. So created a reading program, an at-home reading program that was really focused around family engagement. So helping parents of 3, 4, 5 year olds how to sit down and read with them and how important that is and building a child's love of books, love of reading, sets them up for, kindergarten readiness and being on grade level with, reading comprehension, vocabulary, all of that. So when they hit those critical years of first, second, and third grade,
Mm,
they're on track. Because that's really where kids fall behind when they're not exposed to books
yeah.
early on enough. And so we really wanted to create that foundation for a child's learning and their success for in education and in life. And so when we focused and became more of a service provider, we dropped foundation. So now we're just Kristi Yamaguchi's Always Dream, because we technically are a nonprofit. And our reading program is now reaching, this coming year, we're projecting over 7,800 individuals impacted with our program throughout Northern California and the state of Hawaii.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And,
Thank you.
we got to talk a little. We're running against the clock here a little bit. We got to talk a little Dancing with the Stars,
Oh,
2008.
yes. The mirror ball.
Where's your gold mirror ball? Do you have that displayed
The
prominently?
mirror ball, a couple rooms away. It's sitting on a shelf somewhere in a dark room. I don't know, but
Did that get your competitive juices flowing again?
well, now only because they have something coming up called Dancing with the Stars Fan Convention, which is like
Oh,
Comic-Con, but for dancing. It's the first
oh,
time
wow.
they're doing that. And they invited me, and I kind of thought about it. I'm like, you know what? It was so fun watching Dancing with the Stars this year. And there's just kind of this energy and momentum behind it. Why not? It'll be
Yeah.
fun. Plus, one of my best friends lives in Palm Springs where this is taking place. So I'm like, let's go. Let's
Okay.
be a part of this. And so, yeah, it was an amazing experience. And I think I was so fortunate to have Mark Ballas as my partner, who is one of the most talented human beings I've ever met. And he is just so creative, so musical, and obviously can dance and move like no one else. So
Yeah.
it was amazing to experience that and be challenged in a whole new way and be
Yeah.
terrified and all of that. But at the same time, work with so many incredible people, not just the pro dancers on the show, the contestants, as well as the production. Everyone was just so encouraging and welcoming that I always look forward to continuing to be a part of that family.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, we end our interviews by asking our guests to choose an infatuation.
Oh,
Infatuation is anyone in the Asian community that you admire. Could be living or
ugh,
deceased. There's too
that's
many.
hard to pick just one.
You
There's
can pick
so
as
many
many
great.
as you want.
Okay, so an easy one in just being an athlete, I right now go with Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
I mean, the athlete that he is and just the barriers that he's just smashed and the records and everything.
Hmm.
And yeah, just
Yeah.
I'm not a Dodgers fan.
Yeah.
I can put that out there right now. San Francisco Giants all the way. But,
Yeah.
as an athlete,
It's really cool. Yeah. All right. Well, Kristi Yamaguchi, this has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. I have to say, you completed my Mount Rushmore. Like I
oh,
in my head, I pictured four people: Amy Tan, Connie Chung, Martin Yan, and Kristi Yamaguchi.
Oh, wow. Amazing company to join. I'm honored. So thank you. Yeah. It's great.
Thank you so much for coming on, and I'll bump into you again sometime, I'm sure, in the Bay
I'm
Area.
sure. Yes. Small world. It'll be great to see you.
All right. And then so at the end, I do this thing where I say, on behalf of Kristi and myself, we hope that you're all happy, healthy, and I let you choose one word to go at the end there.
Ah.
So think of that.
Oh,
I'll do the read here, and then I'll point to you, and I'll say happy, healthy, and then you do the last one. All right.
okay.
Okay. So everyone out there, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you had a good time listening to some great stories from Kristi, and she's such an icon for us Asian Americans. So we really appreciate her coming on. So on behalf of Kristi Yamaguchi and myself, we hope that you're all happy, healthy, and
Inspired.
yay! Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Curtis. Bye bye.